These are geography facts where the map changes the outcome. From airports and islands to parks, colleges, and border systems, each place bends the story in a different way. Ipang sky lanterns in Chiang Mai force Chiang Mai International Airport to cancel and reschedule flights every year. Ipang is a lantern festival in the same city as the airport. The problem is not the festival grounds, but the airspace above them. As lanterns rise, they enter the space aircraft use for arrivals and departures. That is why the airport treats them as an airspace hazard. Chiang Mai International Airport responds by canceling and rescheduling flights during the festival. The schedule changes repeat every year, not just once. So a celebration in the sky becomes a routine air traffic adjustment below. The lanterns and the airport share the same airspace, and the flights have to fit around it. Tokyo-grown cocoa comes from almost 1,000 kilometers south of the city center. The cocoa was grown on Hahajima, one of Japan's subtropical islands. Japan's cocoa production is limited to Hahajima and Okinawa. Hahajima is administratively part of Tokyo metropolis, even though it sits far from the city core. That boundary lets its cocoa be marketed as Tokyo-sourced. Hiratsuka Confectionery Company began serious cultivation on Hahajima in 2011. It was the first company to attempt domestic cocoa production in Japan. The result is Tokyo cacao bean to bar chocolate made from island-grown beans. On the label, Tokyo points to a distant island, not the urban center. The former Natick station ended up as the basement of a liquor store. Natick Station was a rail building first, built for trains and passengers before the property changed hands. The station structure was not simply erased when rail use ended. Later construction absorbed the old station into the new site. The rail building stayed in place, and the new retail property rose above it. That shift changed the building's role completely. A place once used for trains became part of a store's lower level instead of a rail stop. The result is a site with two histories in one footprint. Above is retail space, and below it, the former Natick station still survives inside the property. A New York City park now sits where waste trucks and helicopters once used the same ground. Before it became parkland, the site worked as a waste transfer station and a heliport. That meant trucks and aircraft both needed direct access to the land. A waste transfer station moves trash from local collection into larger transport routes. A heliport gives helicopters a place to land and take off in a dense city. When the city no longer needed that industrial and transport role, the land was converted into public park use. The same ground shifted from handling city systems to serving everyday visitors. A place built for trucks and aircraft became open space in New York City. That change shows how urban land can be repurposed when needs change. A city in Genshin Impact was shaped by an ancient town in Hunan, and the link is architectural, not political. The connection comes from how the place looks and how its spaces are arranged, not from the game's story lore. A real town provided visual and spatial inspiration, so regional design cues could be translated into the city's layout and architecture. That gives the game city a rooted look, with familiar building forms carrying a specific regional landscape into a fantasy map. So the fictional city ends up echoing a real Chinese town through architecture, and that shape can still be read in the map. Every year, tens of thousands of Vietnamese Catholics travel to Missouri for Marian Days. The gathering happens at Our Lady of the Ozarks College, a fixed religious site in Missouri. It gives one place a yearly pull for people spread far apart. That site matters because Marian Days is repeated every year, so the same destination keeps drawing the same community back across distance. For a short time, the college becomes the center of a large annual movement of people, not just a local campus. A Missouri college becomes a destination shaped by one dispersed religious community, returning on the same calendar rhythm each year. Gadat Wilatikto needed North Korean parliament approval to marry a local woman. That meant the marriage was not only personal, it depended on a state institution inside North Korea. The decisive step was formal approval from parliament, not a private family decision. Parliament acted as the gatekeeper for the relationship. Once that approval was required, a wedding became a government permission question. The couple's relationship moved into the political system. So in this case, marriage in North Korea crossed from home life into formal state control. The final answer sat with parliament, not with the couple alone. Serbia's smallest passenger airport has only one year-round scheduled flight, and it goes to Istanbul. This airport still works as a passenger gateway, even with a very narrow route network. The connection is direct, not a web of many destinations. Its geography supports that pattern. When demand is limited and travel flows are narrow, one permanent route can carry most of the needed traffic. That single route to Istanbul matters because it links the airport to a major hub. A hub can absorb connections that a small airport cannot support on its own. So the airport stays on the map with one permanent flight, one destination, and a passenger role shaped by place rather than size. If you enjoy seeing how location quietly controls what people can do, watch the full compilation and compare how each place reshapes the rules. And if one of these surprised you most, tell us which map fact changed the way you see it.